DDR5 is probably a bit more mature now with the 12th gen Intel Core processors available since October 2021. With that being said, many people have probably yet to upgrade to the new memory standard. My name is Vanessa, and today we'll be taking a quick look at the KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory, which is a DDR5-4800 CL40. Let's see how far we can go with this kit. The KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory comes in a standard blister pack. You can see the memory right through it, and there are some mentions of its features like the lifetime warranty, capacity, and speed along the side. While over on the back, we can see some basic features of the DDR5. As the KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory is a naked kit without a heat spreader, we get to look at the on-module power management, or PMIC for short, in the center with the memory ICs flanking them. The DDR5 RAM only has components on one side, with the other side being entirely blank. KLEVV went with a crosshatch pattern on the matte black PCB, which certainly looks better than the plain glossy PCBs. The KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory is a 32GB kit with 16GB on each stick. We have the SK Hynix memory ICs here rated for DDR5-4800 at 1.1V. It also comes with a Renesas PMIC. Our test bench has an Intel Core i9-12900K, and it uses the Asus ROG Maxima Z690 Hero motherboard. This is actually our first time pushing a DDR5 memory beyond XMP. Not like this kit has XMP, but as you'll find out soon enough, this RAM doesn't actually quite need one, as overclocking it on our test bench was so easy that it scared us. We added some active airflow with a 120mm fan over the kit, as we didn't feel comfortable pushing such high clocks without some form of cooling for them. Right out of the box, we had to make sure that the KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory was stable, as well as to establish a baseline. Needless to say, we got beyond 200% HCI mem test without issue with excellent performance numbers, although latency is definitely a lot higher, but that can be addressed simply by enabling ASUS Enhanced Memory Profile, or AEMP for short, featured on the ROG Maxima's Z690 Hero. With the memory set to DDR5-4800 CL32 without any fine-tuning aside from enabling AEMP, performance noticeably improved across the deck. After all, CL40 to CL32 is nothing to scoff at. And the best part is that the voltage didn't need to be raised at all. We got to DDR5 6000 CL40 at 1.1V, which yields yet another bump in performance. DDR5 6200 was a no-go at 1.1V, so we had to bump up the VDD and VDDQ voltages up to 1.3V to let us hit DDR5 6200 CL40 easily. DDR5 6400 CL40 was pretty close to meeting the passing mark, but just fell short. I guess a slight voltage bump would have allowed it to be stable, but we were not exactly feeling adventurous to push for even higher voltages at this point in time. As such, we decided to tighten the timings. As we gradually tightened the timings, we found that at DDR5 6200 34, 38, 38, 62, we were unable to further tighten the primary timings. With the tuned timings, we actually see it outperform the unstable DDR5 6400 CL40 in terms of bandwidth and also latency. So as we went from DDR5 4800 CL40 to DDR5 6200 CL34, what kind of performance improvements are we talking about? With this new overclock settings for the RAM, we saw an 8% increase on average FPS in Rainbow Six Siege. This might not seem like much, but when you consider that the minimum FPS has increased more substantially at 15%, the benefits become more apparent. But of course, this also heavily depends on the game you play. With all this data, I believe the most notable data point would be the gap between DDR5 4800 CL40 to DDR5 6000 CL40. That move required no tweaking on the RAM whatsoever aside from changing the frequency, and yet yielded a good 7% improvement in terms of the minimum frame rate. While it doesn't have any heat spreader to help rid heat away from the PMIC and also the memory ICs, the KLEVV DDR5 U-DIMM standard memory performed very admirably. With just a voltage bump, the RAM was able to go up to DDR5 6200 without any problems, and the performance also increased quite substantially. At 1,279 Malaysian ringgit, it is priced quite competitively, especially if you consider the amount of overclocking headroom it has. So for the ease of overclocking and the exceptional overclocking headroom, we would like to give this the silver Pokde award. That is placed, I'm not sure where yet, but yeah. Thanks for watching Pokde.net, and we will see you next time. Bye bye!